I'm talking to Larry Coryell here, Thin Man Watts Jazz Festival 2015. He's headlining this event, and we wanted to take this chance to ask him a few questions. Quite an honor to speak with you, Mr. Coryell. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I remember when you had the 11th House and Alphonse Mousson and so on. Tell us a little bit about those early years. When did you really realize you had made it or gotten to a point where you were a successful musician?
When I played Royal Albert Hall in the 70s with Paco de Lucia and John McLaughlin. I think we couldn't get any much better than that.
I have to agree. Was that before your time with Chick Corea? You recorded with Chick Corea in 1972?
That was after. That was more like 78, something like that.
Oh, wow.
78, 79.
Okay.
But the whole life that I've had in music, I feel, that the business has been very good to me. And I'm grateful for that. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. It could have gone the other way, but I think the hand of a great power stepped in and straightened it all out. And ever since 1981, I've been on the straight and narrow in terms of substances, and I don't miss it. As a matter of fact, I like being clean, and I didn't know I could play so good, so sober.
Yeah. Very good. I think the rest of us see that pretty clearly now as well. So
let's talk about Noble Thin Man Watts.
Okay. I knew Noble personally. He was a person from here, as I told you. He inspired a lot of folks. He was never a big name, but did you ever hear of him before?
I have not. That's why I did a little research in the last 20 minutes to find out about him, and I find that he was touring with some R&B groups in the 50s when those groups were very important musically. But most important, what you have told me about Thin Man Watts is that he came back to his community at the end of his career and sunk roots deep into the community and helped create culture here in DeLand. And I think that's a great thing to do after your musical accomplishments, is to do the human relationship thing. I can surmise that he did his own kind of human revolution to become the kind of person that went beyond just being a musician, but really he saw the good in other people and wanted to have everybody connect through that common goodness.
Yeah. Well, I would have to agree. After all, we're here. The venue name is the Noble Thin Man Watts Amphitheater. So he is very much beloved here in DeLand. I have to ask you. That leads to one more question for you. I wonder if you have considered what might be your legacy. Are you looking? I know you have a son who plays, so you're leaving music behind, and two sons who plays. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Have you written, or have you got books? Are you thinking about what your legacy will be musically?
Well, I'm not finished.
Yes.
My creative journey. But here's what I have been thinking about lately. I want to see if it's possible to establish some kind of fund to send young players who are really good but not financially well off to really good music schools, so they can actually be in an environment where they can be taught and have mentors and really develop their talent, because just because they don't have because a lot of the tuition is very high.
Right.
I would like to establish some kind of chair, or whatever it's called, institution or institute, where we'll be able to give a young, as a matter of fact, I got a young guy in Orlando who's 19 or 18, plays just as good as me already.
What is his name?
What is his name? Will Patrick.
Oh, very good.
But there's another student that I have, her name is Victoria Blanchard, and she's living now, she's from Utah, but she lives in Arlington, Massachusetts, but she can't afford to go to those schools there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, she's going to be the next Eric Johnson.
Oh, wow.
And more.
That's
She's
fantastic.
Got sound. She doesn't even know it. Yeah. And I'm glad we're down here for me to say this, because if she heard this, she'd be embarrassed. She can stretch her fingers so far, and she's invented chords.
Oh, wow.
She's only 22.
Wow. Amazing. I'm going to look these people up.
Yeah.
Well, that leads to one last question for me is, who are you listening to now? Any of your peers? Who do you draw influence from currently?
Wes Montgomery,
Oh, okay.
Kenny Burrell,
Okay,
Jimmy Smith,
okay,
John Coltrane,
okay,
Dizzy Gillespie,
okay,
Miles Davis,
okay.
Oscar
There we
Peterson,
go.
Herbie Hancock,
Yeah,
Chick Corea,
yeah.
Keith Jarrett, and I also enjoy listening to the records that Richard Drexler makes
Okay,
and the records that Marty Morell makes.
okay. Very good.
These guys are just not sidemen. They
Oh,
are
yeah,
great players.
yeah.
They're not just players per se. They're also composers, musicians. They have conceptual
Yeah,
ideas.
right. Very good, Larry Coryell here. I mean, Jeff Shepard here. This is Larry Coryell. I think we've gotten what we need here to share with our folks. And thank you so much. Appreciate.
My great pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm looking so forward to hearing you. Yeah.
Noble,
Yeah.
this is for you. We're going to play for Noble Thin Man Watts tonight.
Okay.
We're going to play our hearts out.
Thank you.